Hello 8th graders. Today we're going to start out with a new unit, 7B.1. And what this is we want to do a little bit more reviewing with solving equations. So for today, the vocab word that we want to start out with is solution. Alright, so solution is a value that makes the equation true. So basically what it is the answer. You want to find the correct answer. All right. So a value that makes the equation true. Example number 1. Now, as always, if you know me, I always like to draw my line down the equal sign to balance my equation. And now I need to get all my coefficients and all my variables and constants all combined like terms together. So I'm going to subtract my 13 to both sides. That cancels that out. Make this a little bit bigger, easier to write. There we go. Hopefully you can see it better as well. So that cancels my 13 out. So I bring down my negative 7x. That now equals, well, a negative 78 and a negative 13. That's a unite. So we combine those to get a negative 91. Now I need to isolate my variable x. So the opposite of a negative 7 times x, divide by 7. Actually divide by negative 7, because a negative divided by a negative gives me a positive. So I have my x equals, and negative 91 divided by a negative 7 ends up giving me a positive 13. And yes, of course, you guys can use your calculators. All right, example number 2. Make that bigger again. Make my a little smaller. There we go. All right, I'm going to draw my line down my equal sign. Now before I can start red row versus end over and combining like terms, I see I have parentheses. So we need to remember to do our, starts with a D, distributive property. All right, so we need to multiply 12 times x. I get 12x. Then I take my 12 times my positive 5, and I end up getting positive 60 equals, on this side, bring down my negative 96. There we go. Now I can combine my constants. I'm going to minus 60 to both sides. That cancels out on this side, and that leaves me with 12x equals, again, we unite a negative 96 and a negative 60, ends up giving me a negative 156. Now, to get x by itself, we're going to divide by 12. So now I have x equals, and don't forget this, we have a negative divided by a positive. So therefore my answer is going to be a negative 13. All right, on we go to the next one. Example number 3. Now, when it comes to this, I like to always start, as we talked about early in the year, I like to start with my variable first, because I always like to have my variable be positive if I can. Just kind of makes it easier for me, and I know a lot of my students like that as well. So in this case, I'm going to subtract my 13x from both sides. This way it stays positive on the left side. This cancels out. I still have 4 left over here. All right, and now 18x minus 13x gives me 5x. I need to bring down, don't forget the sign, need to bring down my negative 11. Oops, and then I forgot my x here. All right, so now I have 5x minus 11 equals 4. So I'm going to plus 11 to both sides to get my constants together. Cancel those out. Bring down my 5x. On my right side, 4 plus 11 gives me 15. Divide both sides by 5. X equals 3. All right. Zipping through these. I'm hoping it's all coming back to you. Plus, it helped that we did some equations with the cubed roots here not too long ago. All right, draw my line. What do I have here? I see parentheses, so that tells me I need to do the distributive property. Negative 4 times x, negative 4x. Negative 4 times a negative 7. Negative times a negative gives me a positive 28 equals, bring that down, 7x, bring down my positive 28. All right, now like I said, I like to start with my variables, so I'm going to keep it positive. I'm going to add my 4x to both sides. Now remember, if you minused 7x to both sides, you're still going to come out with the same answer. I just prefer to do it this way. So those cancel out, leaves me with 28 on the left side equals 11x, and then bring down my 28. And now I need to bring, that's a positive 28. Now I need to bring this 28 on the right side over, so I'm going to minus 28 to this side. Minus 28 to this side, cancels out. I have 11x equals 0. Now some people think, oh, no solution or all real numbers, but no, we have 11x equals 0. Our variable hasn't canceled out yet, so now what we do is divide both sides by 11, and x equals, because 0 divided by 11 is 0. Now, if that was the other way around, 11 divided by 0, that's undefined. You can't do that. So, in this case, we have x equals 0. It has one solution, one answer. The only number that will work in there is 0. Example number 5. Again, I see those parentheses, so I'm going to have to do my distributive property. Negative 3 times x is a negative 3x. A negative 3 times a negative 7 gives me a positive 21. Okay, now we've simplified that right side. Let's go to the left side. Just bring that down. 19 minus 5x. I can't combine anything there. All right, now let's get our terms together. I'm going to add, in this case I want to add my 5x to both sides. I mean, you could have plus 3x to both sides again, like I said, and you could have gotten the same exact correct answer. Bring down my 19 equals, here I have a fight, positive wins by 2x, bring down my positive 21. Good. Now I can subtract 21 from both sides. Those cancel out, bring down my 2x on my right side. On the left side now, what do I have left? Good, I have a negative 2. All right, now to get that x, that variable by itself, we'll divide both sides by 2. And now we have x equals a negative 2 divided by a positive 2 equals a negative 1. Don't say 0, a negative 1. All right. And the last one, whoa, it went a little wild on me. I got so excited solving these variables again. And equations, I should say. All right, draw your equal, or I like to. I know some of you may not, but I still, old school, I like to have my line drawn, especially when we're learning. It still just helps keep things organized. So now I see parentheses on both sides of my equation. So I have to do the distributive property on both sides. I get 9 times x, 9x, 9 times 2, positive 18. On the right side, 7 times x, 7x. 7 times a negative 6 is a negative 42. All right, so to keep my variable term positive, I'm going to subtract my 7x. That cancels out, leaves me with negative 42 on the right side. And over here, it's a 2x, bring down my 18. Good. Now subtract 18 to both sides. Those cancel out. 2x left on the left. And then I get a negative 42 minus 18. So that's a unite. You got to combine them and get a bigger negative 60. Now to get my x right here all by itself, divide both sides by, 2. So now I have x equals a negative divided by positive is a negative 30. And there you have it. Hopefully you have a fun day refreshing your mind and getting back into some fun, simple, easy equations. Have a great day.